boy, who's ready for this? Most epic death scenes. Most epic. You guys will not believe how many there are. There are so many. There's just like, I was making a list, and then there was more, and there was more, and I was like, oh, what about that one? What about that one? And so, yeah, here's what we're going to do, guys. It's going to be three crazy A Song of Ice and Fire nerds basically picking their best death scenes, most epic, most impactful death scenes in a draft format. This is a fantasy draft of fantasy death scenes, and it's going to be lots of fun. And we are going to start with the most epic and keep working, but there are so many. They just you shake the books and they fall out of it like change out of the couch cushions. So that's what we're here to do today. Thanks for joining us, folks. And if your name is on this list, extra special thank you. These are our patrons. Also like to thank our YouTube channel member Squishers, whose names are lit up in the chat with green text and Squisher icons. And here we are, my guests. We're all doing crimes today. We're ready to do some murders, folks. I've got Nettles Waters to my right. I'm sorry, stage right, stage. You guys know which one Nettles is. To the side of you. I'm to the side of you. You know who Nettles is, and the man in the mask. Of course, you can figure it out by the Bayaki in the background. Obviously, that's Grey Waist Tim in disguise. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah, the stranger, the king, the man in the pallid mask, the mask of the Red Death. It's me, Grey Waist Tim. And I can't wear my doing crimes hood the whole stream. It's summer in Sacramento, but there you go. There it was. Yeah, I'm reading Rhaegar, and of course, if you want a soft, organic cotton reading Rhaegar t-shirt such as I am wearing, very comfortable. Link below. That's also where you can find the link to the YouTube channels of my esteemed guests here, Grey Waist Tim and Girl Nettles. Thank you. I took the liberty of naming your fantasy teams for you. Nettles, I figured you would be the Sheep Stealers.
Hey. Yeah. And then Grey Waist Raiders. Obviously, you are the Raiders of the Grey Waist. And I couldn't figure out a real football team name analog for Lightbringers. The Chargers was the closest thing I came up, but it's not really. So I have the lame team name, but they have cool team names. In any case, we did miss you, Nettles. Thank you, Bloodstone Emperor, for that super chat. Nettles, of course, you have been in the chat on many of our streams, but it is wonderful to have you.
Yes. If you can't see me on here, I'll be cussing you out in the chat. No, just kidding. But we're just having fun. You know how we do.
Well, you'll be cussing, but you'll be kidding at the same time. That's how we. That's how we do it. So, in any case, this is the way that we're defining this. Most epic character deaths. There's several things that can make a death epic. It could be the extreme violence of it. It could be epic action scene. Emotional impact, maybe above all. You know, as you think of when you're reading it. That's kind of what makes it epic, is like, we're thinking about this a little bit from George, like admiring George's work as a murderer, as a fictional murderer. Like, the more I listed these, I was like, oh, basically everything important in Ice and Fire has a death involved in it, like every Dothraki wedding. And so, this is going to be a tour de force of George's death scenes. And the way that we're doing this, guys, it's by scene. So if two people are killed in one scene, that's one scene. We're not... One person can't pick one person. You know, you guys get it. It's by the scene. And it can be anything that George has written in the world of Ice and Fire. It could be Fire and Blood. It could be Dunk and Egg. It could be the main books. It could be a myth inside the main books. Anything that's a death scene that George has written inside the universe, that is available. And we can pick anything you want. So... I was thinking to let ladies go first, and Tim, since you're a guest, I'll let you go second, and I'll pick third. We'll just so go ahead and start it off. Nettles, Waters, what do you think is the most epic death scene in A Song of Ice and Fire?
You know, I'm so sad, kind of, because you were so nice to me to let me go first. But I've got to stab you in the back immediately. Like, I'm gotta pick one that I know you would want on your draft team. So.
And meanwhile, I'm going to be trying to snake Tim's picks, which is going to be hard because Tim told me he was going to go for obscure stuff that no one else would pick. So there's a strange wheel of strategy going on here. But go ahead, Nettles.
Rhaegar's death at the Trident.
All right, that does cut.
I had to get it before you did. I know who you are. But listen, no, I mean, whether you're a fan of Rhaegar or not, or whatever you got going on in the fandom, just like the romance of that death, to be hit in the chest with that mace like a lover's, like it's just so like romantically coded, you know? And then of course, you know, we help out the little small folk, you know, those rubies fed generations that were big. So that was like, you know, it's like what kids do in the summertime. Like maybe your family goes camping, but kids go and pick rubies and earn their family a fortune. And then of course, the biggest thing for me, and it's the last thing I'll say about this before I pass it on to you guys, is just what his death means, like the theme of the good guy doesn't win. Because before a Game of Thrones started, right? Like, let's pretend none of that, like the moment that happens, Rhaegar's the hero. If we were watching this show, we would think, oh, Rhaegar's going to win. Rhaegar's Jon Snow, that's going to kill the Night King. Like, he has this big destiny, all this stuff to do. He just became a father again, you know? But like, no, just like Ned, surprise death of your main character point of view hero. So that's epic.
So that's a great point, and this is basically this is something I say a lot about George's writing. He creates a road not taken. It's a very just a great writing technique. It's like, what if we created the Prince Charming? He thinks he is the prince that was promised, et cetera, and he's gonna, you know, he's gonna rescue the kingdom from his father's misrule while giving birth to the prince that was promised, and he's gonna put down the frat boy Robert's rebellion. But then, you know, like you said, Ned's death, similar thing. George does it all through the books. The road not taken. It's great technique. And yeah, Rhaegar becomes this hole in the story. And this is also why Rhaegar can't be alive, is because that hole in the story is going to be filled by Dany and Jon Snow, a couple others, you know, and so he can't really come back in the same way that Ned's death creates room for Robb, and Robb's death creates this vacuum that we're all waiting for someone to fill. That's how it works. So great pick. And I do have Maynard Plum behind the scenes updating the rosters here, so they will fill out as we pick, and we can keep track. And at the end, chat, we will vote on who's got the best roster. I should have mentioned that earlier, but that's what we'll do. And also, chat, if you you know, if you want to try to call out what you think is the most next epic death, and then one of us picks your thing, I will try to acknowledge y'all in the chat for making the right pick.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. And just give my own commentary on that, because that was one that I was considering. It didn't make my top 10 in the end, but it was one I was considering. But that's because I was looking at it from the other aspect of Marwyn the Mage's line about prophecy and how it'll bite your dangling off. And that is like, yeah, just as I don't want to swear too early and demonetize us too early. I'll wait an hour in before I swear. But the thing is like, prophecy blinds you. Rhaegar, I think too, of Jaime's memory of Rhaegar, like, oh, we'll have much to discuss when I get back. And it's like, yeah, you never considered the possibility that you're not going to come back from this.
It's written in the stars, Tim. The victory is written in the stars.
It's like, but I thought I was going to be the prince I was promised, or I thought, it's like, yeah, you thought. You did. You planted the seed, but that's all that life needed from you. So now you can exit. That really is how it is for Rhaegar. You played your part, and now and you're no longer needed. So our story begins with Prince Charming already dead.
Well, go ahead, Tim. It is now your pick. So yeah, exactly. Prince Charming is already dead. The frat boy's on the throne, and he's not been doing a good job. It's just I can't recommend it enough to all you budding writers, aspiring or experienced writers out there. Create a story and then knock it down, because that's how life works. Go ahead, Tim.
So I went another route, which I'm pretty sure is
stealing one from Dave, and I went with Abomination. My first pick is Araya Targaryen and the Worms with Faces.
So here's how many incredible deaths there are. I created my own little draft list of 37. And Araya's not even on there. I didn't even think of Araya. It's incredibly epic death.
Oh yeah, my first pick is Abomination.
Abomination. That's a great pick, Tim. That is a great pick. Go ahead and sell us. Why is it epic? Give us all the reasons.
Oh, because I mean it is George invoking Alien. It really is. This is Dracomorph. This is face huggers. This is the idea of dragons being dragons themselves being an abomination, the blood magic of old, the chimeras that possibly were created. These things that Araya Targaryen comes back from somewhere. We're not sure where. We assume it's old Valyria.
Which, by the way, Maynard, yes, that you have that spelled correctly. Nice job on the Araya. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah. And it's the fact that it's so disturbing. It requires its own cover-up. What the public is told is that Araya Targaryen died of fever. Jaehaerys the Conciliator bans anyone from actually talking about it. It's through Septon Barth that we get the truth of what really happened. And
they find it later. It's like decades later, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, and it's so disturbing. Like he even writes like he fully goes into Septon mode. It's like a priest. It reads like a priest that actually oversaw an exorcism of an actual demon. It's like, man, I saw some stuff, and it is going to haunt me until the day I die. Oh my God, the sounds they made, worms with faces.
So, Tim, thank you for mentioning this. My video this week is going to be the heresies of Septon Barth. I was going to call it Theories of Septon Barth, but we got a title upgrade to Heresies of Septon. Same thing. But yeah, we're going to talk about all of his theories. And then the following Sunday, we're going to do a stream to talk about the life of Septon Barth, because the stuff that he did as a person, I was going to make it like the little intro section to the theories video, but he did so much. I was like, oh, this is a whole stream. So, Tim, if you want, you're welcome to join me next Sunday for the life and times of Septon Barth, and we can get into some of that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have the quote right here. So, the things, Mother have mercy, I do not know how to speak of them. They were worms with faces, snakes with hands, twisting, slimy, unspeakable things that seemed to writhe and pulse and squirm as they came bursting from her flesh. Some were no bigger than my little finger, but one was at least as long as my arm. Oh, warrior, protect me, the sounds they made. And this is George going full-on body horror, full Lovecraft too, because the way Barth, there are so many Lovecraft stories where the protagonist is speaking in just those types of terms. The constant interruption, like, oh, God, protect me, the madness is just creeping.
You're right. You're right. And then at the end, he talks about, I've always been someone to be curious, but some doors should not be opened. And that's kind of the Lovecraft ethos boiled down. Like, yeah, what happens when you look into the door that shouldn't be opened? Oh my God, you have no words even. So very good, great call, Tim. So for my turn, I'm not going to pick the top one I'm going to go with number 5 on my list, which is the death of Brandon and Rickard Stark. Horrifying and epic. One strangled while the other burned alive in his armor in front of the Mad King while Jaime went away on the inside. And not only is the scene epic and just gnarly as hell, the way it's revealed, Jaime has this secret he's been carrying around. Catelyn never knew. Ned could never tell her because it's so freaky. And so in this moment when the tables are turned and the mighty Jaime is the prisoner of Cat, who's gotten him drunk, Jaime weaponizes this knowledge and reveals it to her slowly in the traditional George Martin fashion, where each sentence makes it more twisted and more twisted until you finally get the truth of it. And it's just like, holy crap. We weren't even, this is like a secondhand thing. This is not a scene that we witnessed, but a recounting of a scene. And it still shakes you to the core to read it. So, I had to get that one before anyone else did because, wow.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Ares imported a special new torture device from Tyrosh, and he's like, I'm dying to try this out. Fire is the champion of House Targaryen. Like, the thing is as mad as it can be.
I love it. I love truly terrifying Targaryen moments without dragons. Like, humans can still shake you to your core.
Yeah. And the fights against the inevitable, Brandon hope desperately against all hope, trying to save his father, choking himself all the while as his dad is consumed by flames.
Yeah, turning the Brandon's attempt to be heroic against him. Yeah, the father watching the son die, being burned alive in your armor, all of it is just horrific. It's almost just like you could barely bring yourself to read it. So yeah, that's I'll go ahead and take that one off the board. Nettles, back to you.
Okay, let's do. All right. I wasn't sure how. Okay, tell me if this is allowed or not, but if it's two people for the same death, but
it's the scene. It's by the scene. Yeah.
I have a 3 for 1.
Well, this is bizarre. Well, for me, it's Sanel and Felice Stokeworth. Like, it's not a scene, but both of their deaths are like similar, just being given to Qyburn.
Oh, I was trying to remember who you're talking about. Yeah, she's all used up. Mine.
Yeah, Felice, and then same thing. Sanel as well, who are disappeared for experiments. So it's kind of like for me, the horror is like the unknown. We don't get a descriptor like that that Tim just read off of like every single horrifying detail of it. So our mind goes there and like.
Just to help out Maynard real quick, how do you spell Felice? Is it Falyse?
Perfection, yes.
Felice, and who else? What was the other one?
Sanel, Senelle.
Thanks for bringing that up. I had forgotten that completely.
Or just maybe put Qyburn's
victims.
Qyburn assisted deaths, yeah.
Oh yeah, she can no longer feed herself. Yeah, you could just put that.
She can no longer feed herself. But yeah, and like kind of like a parallel to that, I know we don't speak of the show, but like kind of Septa being given to
Unella.
The mountain.
Yeah.
Yep. Like when you're just here, because I'm thinking Septa Mordain. I'm like, that wasn't. But like,
we are doing book canon, but it's fine to mention the show related.
Yeah, just to like that feeling of like you're walking away and you're just hearing her scream, and that's all you need, because you know that who she's in there with. So same thing with Qyburn. It's just like horrifying for the imagination.
I was also thinking of the Blue Bard that Cersei and Qyburn tortured together. The descriptions of that was horrifying. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm just bring myself back to the stream here. Okay, Tim, your comments and your next pick.
Yeah, because what you brought up the Blue Bard, and that one, Cersei's taking an active role, but when it comes to what Nettles had pointed out, this is Cersei just handing them over to Qyburn. This is cold indifference to what is happening behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm shaking. Go ahead, Tim.
Sorry, Sir Maynard, if you could just put like Qyburn.
That's fine. Like, no, the names, no, that's fine.
I don't want people to jump in and be like, who are those people? And like not give me my points.
Yeah.
When we have the whole thing listed out. It's all about me winning, so I just need to make sure it's worded.
Okay, well, that's fine. Okay.
Qyburn experimental deaths or something. Thank you.
I gave my Maynard, I gave mine all of my picks like actual titles, so you can just repeat. You can just type word for word what I'm going to say when I introduce them.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So for my next pick, Regis Groves and his exploding head.
Remind us what this is, Tim.
Okay, so if you've never heard me speak on Targaryen kings, Aegon the Third is my favorite. So for me, the post-dance chapters of Fire and Blood, those are my uncut gems. And this is one of these things that happens in the aftermath, and it's one of the unwritten histories, but it's one of those little tidbits that George just leaves in there, and we're just left going, wait, what? What happened? Tell me more right now. Because it is the aftermath at Harrenhal when Alice Rivers is still in control. Regis Groves is a member of the Kingsguard appointed by Aegon III, and he is sent to Harrenhal to root out Alice Rivers. Another thing I did is I also wrote down what book and what page number the descriptions are on, so I can just straight up read what happens. Arriving before the walls of Harrenhal, he found the gates closed and hundreds of armed men on the battlements. There were at least 600 souls within the castle, a third of them of men fighting age. So after the war, there are all these broken men that have taken up refuge in Harrenhal, and they are now Alice Rivers' personal guard. So Regis demanded to speak to their lord. A woman emerged to treat with him with a child beside her. The Witch Queen of Harrenhal proved to be none other than Alice Rivers, the base-born wet nurse, and the paramour of Prince Aemond, now claimed as widow. The boy was Aemon's, she told the knight. His bastard, said Sir Regis. His true-born son and heir, Alice Rivers spat back, and the rightful king of Westeros. What happened next remains a matter of some dispute. Some say that Alice Rivers merely raised a hand and Sir Regis began to scream and clutch his head until his skull burst apart, spraying blood and brains. Others insist that the widow's gesture was a signal, at which a crossbow man on the battlements let fly a bolt that took Sir Regis through an eye. Mushroom, who was hundreds of leagues away, has suggested that perhaps one of the men on the walls was skilled in the use of a sling. Soft lead balls, when slung with sufficient force, have been known to cause the sort of explosive effect that Groves' men saw and attributed to sorcery. Whatever the case, Sir Regis Groves was dead in an instant. Half a heartbeat later, the gates of Harrenhal burst open and a swarm of howling riders charged forth. A bloody fight ensued. The king's men were put to rout. The Witch Queen's minions hunted them all through the night before abandoning the chase. Some 32 men lived to return to Castle Derry of the 100 that had set out.
So, this is one of the best hanging threads from Fire and Blood, of course. Alice Rivers, as we've said many times on the stream, in the official record, no one really recovers control of Harrenhal for about 17 years after the dance, and Alice was the last person holding it. So it's
actually even longer. There is a 25-year period because it's not until the Lostons are awarded it that we know for sure who the next lord was. So this entire period between the 130s through the 150s, Alice Rivers has a 25-year window where she may have been in charge.
It's a box of fertile soil that George has left to garden with, in Blood and Fire. So yeah, and there's so many things that make her interesting. This is one of them. It's an unexplained magic. We're not really sure what it is. It's probably a magic thing. I mean, maybe there's a conventional explanation, but usually when they give you like, oh, maybe it's magic or maybe it's something normal, like it's usually magic. So, that's an obscure pick, Tim, but a good one. Definitely an epic death, exploding a Kingsguard's head in front of the gates of Harrenhal.
And it also raises the question, who is that little kid next to Alice Rivers? Is that actually Aemon One-Eye's bastard?
And what happened to them?
And what happened to him?
So that makes it my turn. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pick one of the obvious ones. Okay. Rhaenyra eaten by Sunfire, fed to Sunfire, eaten in 6 bites, leaving one for the stranger. And in front of her small child, Aegon III, Tim's favorite, the Dragon's Bane, who was obviously traumatized by this. So this is at the end of a long civil war. And for a Targaryen, this is about the most epic death that you can have, like dying in a dragon fight, being burned by a dragon, being eaten by a dragon. It's symbolic of how the Targaryens, go into the dragons and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And, guys, I'll turn the conversation to this. One of the problems with ending Game of Thrones the way they did, by having Jon need to murder Dany because Dany went mad or whatever, which we've all covered the ground that it's not going to end that way in the books, most likely, almost certainly, is that Rhaenyra also has a tragic death at the end of this story. And so it's like, oh, great. So we're going to kill the female protagonist in horrible ways both times with a kinslaying, type of thing. Like, great. But the thing is that the Rhaenyra's death, when you think about it, is incredibly epic, and it is fitting for her character. It's not, I like I said, as a Targaryen, to get eaten by a dragon and to face her death, you know what I mean? Like, courageously, like it's horrible. But it's certainly epic. And, it's only happened a couple of times in the story that someone's been fed to a dragon like that. So
yeah.
You got one off my list, but that's okay.
Yes! That's my real goal. Yes. All right.
Okay, so I'm the first to be stolen from. All right.
And no, you guys will. Yeah, I guess so, technically. And the chat, Tim, enjoyed your obscure picks and the fact that you came prepared with the quotes. That does help. I do appreciate that, Tim. So as always, Tim.
But if this is a game where we're trying to snag one from one another, you got the first snag.
There you go.
Yeah. Tim, you've impressed me. I'm over here hating on you very silently. Like, I'm like, dang it.
Regis quotes. That's a name I haven't heard. Like, yeah.
And actually, no, just real quick, no, I think it will be Fagon who is eaten by a dragon in echo of Rhaenyra's death, not Daenerys. Because if you look at the Syvas game with Tyrion and Fagon, it seems to foreshadow that. But
yeah. Because George loves his use of foils and parallels, so this would be the gender inverse. Rhaenyra is fed to a man's dragon, so Fagon being fed to a woman's dragon. It follows the same beats.
Yeah. You know what? This is making me so excited for season 3 because you mentioned Alice, Tim, in your last one, and then now this. I mean, we're not going to see Rhaenyra yet, but we forgot to mention what would happen. Did we say what Alice would be doing? Maybe in the breaks of all the war, we'll be having some Alice stuff. 25 years? Okay. My pick is Nisa.
25 years.
Oh, I thought I was gonna be clever and keep that in my pocket and bust it out.
Listen, you gotta rip in your pocket. I hope you know. Ain't no saving. I wouldn't do that.
I am gutted like Nissa right now. Go ahead,
Maynard,
make the case.
Go ahead, Nissa. Write it on mine. Make sure you don't accidentally give me that Nissa.
Oh, no, make the case. Why is this one of the most epic deaths? Of course it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's legend. This is Hercules. This is it's legendary for a reason. The symbolic nature of it, how it just, I think if there's anything that repeats the most is this, having to kill the thing you love, whether it's to become the boy or whether it's, to kill the boy or whether it's anything else. I love it. And then it's just kind of just a beautiful story. It's almost biblical, the trials he has to go through to be tested and then finally having to make that choice. It's the heart and conflict.
I'm sorry I had you on the stream. I'm sorry I let you pick first. That did hurt. That was brutal. I am stabbed in the heart. That is the moon cracked. She got stabbed and the moon cracked open. It works as a legend. If you read Azor Ahai as the bad guy, then it's it's this important lesson about, one boy's life being worth everything. You can't become as bad as the people you're trying to defeat. What's the point otherwise? But then if you look at it and read it straight, Nissa becomes this Jesus figure who sacrifices her own life to save the world, which is the heroic ideal of A Song of Ice and Fire. So it's basically the villainous ideal and the heroic ideal all zipped up in one. And that's
How dare you steal the thing I've based my entire channel on?
Gutted. Go ahead, Grey Waste Tim.
Okay.
I'm blaming Maynard Plum. I told Maynard Plum before the chat, it was like, Nissa, Nissa. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I mean, that might not have as much emotional impact. It's not really a scene that people read, blah, blah, blah. Gut it, Maynard. You're wrong. That
it's
hurt.
important to me, damn it.
That's what you get. Always follow your gut in a fantasy draft. Don't go off the list. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, no, I hear you. I'm going with strong Pokemon, weak Pokemon, truly skilled trainers try to win with their favorites, and that's what I'm doing here. So my number 3 pick is Dancing with Waymar Royce. It's the first chapter, and it's the others. How could it not make the list?
Very strong, Tim. Very strong.
Good.
I will add on to that. I had that one like number 8 or something overall. And I think it's great because at first Waymar is written as the stereotypical haughty lordling, and it's very easy when you first read the prologue to be like, this guy's a dipshit and he should be listening to Garrett and all this stuff, and he's making Will climb the tree, and he's just comes across really as a jerk. But then in this moment, even Will glimpses the bravery of the fact that he faces the others, and he's like, well, come dance with me then. Like, it's awesome. And the more you dwell on the story and sort of come back and reread it, you sort of see the heroic side, like, oh, okay, that kid was actually pretty brave. And he was also right. Like, the other two wanted to turn back and were like, oh, we don't want to investigate. And he's like, nah, something is weird here. We need to figure out what's up. So he was right about that. And Waymar Royce, great pick.
Yeah, because it sets the tone for the entire story going forward. We open with what is ultimately our biggest threat. And now here we are 30 years later, and we still know next to nothing about them. Everything we know is hearsay and intrigue and built upon the theories we've been crafting ever since. And really, who else could we say was killed directly by the others, too? Chet, the leech boy? I think that's about it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and take The Red Wedding, which I had number 1 on my list. I just figured somebody would take it. But it's the death of Robb and Catelyn and a few thousand soldiers besides. But not only is Robb shot multiple times, by the musicians in the balcony, then we have Roose Bolton stepping up to Nissa him and stab him through the heart in front of his mother. Then his mother turns into a murderer, cuts poor little Jingle Bell's throat, and then claws her face off in a sort of delirious red haze. Then she is later turned into Lady Stoneheart. Grey Wind is killed. Robb probably dies twice, first being killed in his own body, then experiencing second life in his wolf, only to be killed as a wolf. And then the wolf head is sewn onto the body and paraded in an abomination. And as well as the dumping Catelyn's body in the river is also an abomination rendering of the Tully funeral rites. And so it's so epic that George Martin could barely bring himself to write it. He wrote all of A Storm of Swords and left that chapter to the end, even though it was like 2/3 of the way through the book. And he wrote it last because it was so disturbing. So I will take The Red Wedding. Thanks for leaving that for me. You guys have any comments about
one of mine.
What's that?
You got your revenge. That was definitely one of mine.
Okay.
And I should have said it second, but yeah.
It was hanging right there. It was hanging right there.
I know.
Go ahead, Sheep Stealers.
All right. Okay. I will take Oberyn's death because talking about head explosions, I think mine's better than yours, Tim. I mean, yours is, I guess yours is good because it could be magic. But come on, this one was the head smash heard around the world. And that's without putting Tyrion's story into that. I think out of everybody, Tyrion is like the best POV to read and a lot of people's favorite characters. So yeah, talk about a major character hanging on a thread. And yeah, it's awesome.
You know what's really besides the brutality and the gruesomeness of it, the fight itself becomes a little bit of a proxy for all of these injustices that never get righted and people that deserve comeuppance and never get it. And here's Oberyn not only fighting against the Mountain, who's this horrible murderer, but he's calling out Tywin. And your blood is pumping for some amount of justice. And then he gets a little happy with the victory and one false move and it all goes south. And it's one of the most gutting moments in the book read, even though like, we're not as attached to Oberyn per se as we are to Ned and other people, but like Oberyn's death, wow. Yeah, it's so disappointing.
Well, it's Tyrion's death. Like, yeah, we're not attached to Oberyn, but we're attached to Tyrion. So when you hear that guilty, it's like his death means Tyrion's death. And it means I'm going to have to close the book if Tyrion dies. Like, it's that feeling of like,
Yeah, the show nailed it pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, first off, it's mine is magic head explosion, yours is physical head explosion.
Yeah.
Talk about it's a brain versus brawn moment where everyone loses their brain. But yet, Oberyn really was like the definition of I'm here for a good time, not a long time. He came in hard, he came in quick. He stole all of our hearts, and then unfortunately he had to leave us, but he had a lasting impact.
Yeah, and I say we're not as attached to Oberyn as we are to Ned. I mean, obviously that's subjective. Oberyn's not a POV character. He is very likable. I mean, like I said, it's very disappointing when he loses. I just mean that for us to feel that so much when we haven't been in his POV, maybe that's a better expression of the thought.
Yeah.
And going back real quick to the Red Wedding, the other thing about the Red Wedding is that after Ned's death, again, we're waiting for this comeuppance, and Robb seems so promising. And then for Robb to get murdered, it's just like, how far does this go? Like, who's gonna take revenge for Robb? And it really just brings the Stark momentum to a complete halt, and they are just spun to the four corners of the earth. So it's a real game changer as far as the course of the story, because you think Robb's going back to Winterfell, and all again, road not taken. So, your pick, Tim.
So mine is Daemon Blackfire and the Weirwood Arrows.
Come on, man.
Yep, I knew Tim would pick this. I almost wanted to try to snake this from Tim, but I had too many others I liked. Go ahead. Why is this an epic death scene, Tim?
So for me, it's not just that it's epic, it's also the symbolism. So another thing that I was doing when I came up with these deaths is I also wanted to look at the symbolism, the thematics, and the circumstances around it. Because themes are not for fourth grade book reports. Themes are important. And one thing George likes to do is he'll introduce an idea, and then he'll go back to that idea in a different way, sometimes writ large, sometimes writ small. What's important about Daemon Blackfire and the twins, so this is actually a 3-for-1, and the death of Weirwood Arrows is when you place it next to Brandon Snow, the bastard half-brother of Torrhen Stark, the king who knelt, who sharpened a bunch of Weirwood arrows and was going to try and kill Aegon's 3 dragons. Here, 3 symbolic dragons are killed by Weirwood arrows. So this opens up like this door, right? Are dragons the question then becomes like, was Brandon Snow onto something? Would Weirwood arrows have an effect on dragons? Because the other thing I was looking at is in a battle of others versus dragons, it seems like dragons have the advantage. Others are weak to Valyrian steel, they're weak to dragon glass. But if others are evicted tree spirits, if they got Weirwood magic, if dragons are susceptible to Weirwood magic, then that levels the playing field. In a battle of fire and ice, it seems like fire would naturally have the advantage. So how does ice fight back? This introduces that concept. It starts with Brandon Snow, and then we're given a symbolic aspect of it with Daemon Blackfire.
I think either Weirwood Arrows and or Dawn is the white, icy symbolic weapon that kills dragons. But we'll see. We'll see.
That's so cool. I never thought of that, Tim. There you go. I mean,
so Rudy Wild, and again, thanks Rudy for your generous super chat at the end of the stream last week. Someone's got to go. Caraxes, Vhagar, Daemon, Aemond. Caraxes very robbed in March Madness. Many people are saying, thank you for your attention to this matter. He was pulling hard for Caraxes in the dragon tourney. Caraxes lost to Balerion, unfortunately. That's Rudy. That's definitely a top one. That's if we had Mel Kiper's best available. The Battle Over the God's Eye is sitting right at the top of the list for sure. It is my pick. So let's see. Do I want to go with the God's Eye? I have one that I would be crushed if I lost, and so I'm gonna go with that instead and leave that on the board. I'm gonna go with Drogo crowning Viserys with molten gold. That's one of the most metal deaths in the series. It is horrifying. We hate Viserys, and yet we still. I'm like, oh my god, that is just horrific. And Dany watching this controversial moment, the Dany haters, try to blame her for this. I don't think that's. Go ahead, Nettles. Why is that not fair?
No, I'm just agreeing. I'm just no. You stole one of mine. That's why I'm reacting. But no, you keep going.
So yeah, a crown for a king, exactly. A crown for a cart king. And Dany basically is realizing that. Let's start with the fact that Viserys signs his own death warrant when he pulls the sword and invades Dothrak, and Dany knows that. So there's not really a way she can intercede to save his life, nor should he. Should she, rather. Obviously, he also, poked her in the belly with the sword and threatened to gut her, cut out her little foal or whatever it is, because he's got to be racist too. But the thing is that Dany makes herself watch. Jorah says, look away, and she's like, no. It's similar to Bran watching the execution in the first chapter. It's like, if you're going to be a part of this death sentence, you got to swing the sword, you have to watch, take accountability for it. And so that's essentially what Dany does. And it is metal. And then, of course, we get Viserion, the dragon named after Viserys, and he has a golden crown. With his his horns and his crest and stuff. So it's definitely, yeah. Dang. Tim, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I do, because how like they say like no blood is supposed to be spilled in Vase Dothrak, and yet this is like technically it's like, oh, how would you like to die? By burning or drowning? But you said no. I assure you, both are quite clean. And so I just like Drogon's use of technicalities in in doing it.
Good point. You can't spill blood, so he's like, how can I kill him without spilling? I could just choke him, but no, we're gonna break his arm and then crown for king. Drogo showing off his Duolingo, his Drogo lingo, Westerosi common tongue. He knows only a few words, so.
Hey.
Gold held that in. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm afraid of losing, so yeah, I'm gonna say God's Eye. I'm taking it immediately from you because
you could say it's number one. It's incredible. Go ahead.
I need God's Eye. I need God's Eye mostly because I made up a theory that Nettles was the one to actually see. The thing is, what happened was in the books that says, Daemon says goodbye to me, and that whole like the dragon screamed and stuff. But then I actually have the books. That's why I read it. You guys haven't. But what actually happens after that is Nettles races because she's like, oh, I can't say bye to you, and she has to go and help him because she knows to go against Vhagar, you need 2 against 1. Because the
problem was that cowardly Aemond One Eye wouldn't face them both, even though he has Vhagar, mother of all dragons. So they had to part ways just so that he would. Go ahead.
The Dance of the Dragons keeps hinting that you need 2 dragons to beat Vhagar. Like there's no 1v1. So it was Sheep Stealer that helped. It was Nettles that came in last minute and saved Daemon, and then she ran away after that. But no, it's just a beautiful moment.
You just said something brilliant there, maybe. Daemon, of course, we don't know. His body was never found. So did he get to the Isle of Faces or whatever? Sheep Stealer swooping in to fish him out of the water after the fight. That's not crazy.
Nope.
She can still go on to become the Fire Witch later in history, but it's interesting.
Yeah, but you know, that aside, it's just epic. It's just epic.
It's the leap. It's the grudge. These two are facing off throughout the whole war. You know, there's this. It's the mutual affection. They admire each other but hate each other. You know, it's like in better times, Aemond would have been Daemon's protege. Like, you know, game recognizes game, but instead they're going against each other. And so they both sort of peel away from fighting the battle for their sides to really work out this grudge. And there is a strategic component in the sense that, like, well, the Greens aren't defeated until Vhagar's dead. So we got, you know, so Daemon is spending his life in order to take away Vhagar. But basically at the end of it, nobody has a powerful dragon. So I don't know, but it's the leap. Really, it's the leap. I mean, from one dragon to the other, stabbing Aemond through the eye with Dark Sister so hard that the sword is jammed into his skull, and the scuba diving team's got to go recover it along with Vhagar's skull, apparently. So yeah, Tim, I know you have feelings about this scene.
I mean, he's right here, Dave. He's right here. Dave. Damon. You show up when we're talking Daemon Blackfire, and now you have to hear about your namesake dying.
What's cool is that, like, you've got the Alan Holdsworth, like, finger picking electric guitar style. Like, you're not plectrum picking. You're doing the whole, it's like kind of Baroque, you know. Anyway, your turn, Tim.
All right. So my next pick is, I titled it "The Desecration of Osnak Zopal." So Osnak Zopal is not important. What's important is the circumstances surrounding his death. Osnak Zopal is the champion of Meereen. He is from one of the richest. His uncle is the richest man in the city. They are a noble family of slavers, and he is killed by Strong Belwas. Why? Because Daenerys thinks that there's no honor in it. If he loses to Strong Belwas, it's an insult. And if he beats Belwas, there's no glory in it because Belwas is a former slave. They take this as an insult. The Marinese, they start pissing at Daenerys. So Belwas, not only does he kill Zopal, immediately he then drops Trow, and he doesn't just fart in their general direction. He takes a deuce. He beheads their champion, kills their horse, loots the corpse, and then poops on it.
Which means he was holding in that poop during the entire fight, which makes the victory that much more impressive.
Amazing.
And it's like, because it's not, as it's not about the act. It's about sending a message, right? It's like, it wasn't enough that you killed their champion. You had to desecrate the body too. Did you have to salt the earth so nothing would ever grow again?
Yeah, shades of Achilles and Hector, kind of, sort of. What's interesting about that is that Belwas, you know, Dany even says, Belwas has, you know, runs his mouth all the time. We've never even seen him fight. And then it's kind of the same for us. So once we see that, we're like, okay, you know, he can fight a little bit. And also eat a lot of poisoned locusts without dying, which is pretty impressive as well. He's hard to kill. So Osnak Zopal. All right, my turn. Let me look at my list. I think I'm going to go with Egg at Summerhall because he killed family members. He destroyed an entire castle. He was trying to hatch 7 dragon's eggs with wildfire and maybe human sacrifice. I think that he believed that he had a dream of a dragon hatching at Summerhall, and I think he was trying to do was hatch dragons by sacrificing himself, and that dragon was supposed to be for Rhaegar, who he thought was going to be born the prince that was promised. That's what I think happened. You can find that in my Summerhall video. But yeah, that's yeah. Oh, sorry spoiler alert. This is Night of the Seven Kingdoms season 10. This is when Egg is 60. And there's the thing about telling the story of a Night of the Seven Kingdoms is that we don't know quite what kind of person Egg grows up to become. We know that he is Team Smallfolk, but it's also said that he grows impatient with the recalcitrant High Lords who don't like his reforms, and he wants to hatch dragons so he can force them to go along with his laws and rule as more of a tyrant. So it's just hard to say some people think he was trying to sacrifice other family members to hatch dragons for himself. I don't think that makes sense because he's 60. I think that he's trying to potentially walk into the fire himself to hatch dragons, whether he believed he would live or not. I think that he's the one who was putting his own life into the fire. But yeah, that's my pick. Egged Summerhall. He blew up a whole castle. So,
Um,
and it's dragon bomb theory, right? A dragon. Thank you. Dragon eggs may be explosive, and if they didn't hatch into dragons, their energy may have gone into the explosion, which is why it was so out of control. Yes, thank you.
Wow, that was such a good one. That's a good one that I'm mad at myself for not thinking of. My goodness. My goodness.
I didn't think of it at first. I made like 25 before I was like, oh, wait, Egged Summerhall.
Or just like Summerhall, like the event. The event
it's
itself.
It's one I don't
Why
like
did the
to
maester spill the ink? Why did the maester spill that ink? I'm going to go with Thistle. Thistle is crazy. Well, I like
Thistle
the lore.
/ Varamir.
Exactly.
It's
but
the
what
same
happens
death,
with
yeah.
Thistle, it's the same. It's the event. But I'm giving Thistle props. But I love the lore deaths. Like Tim, I hate you so much for your list. For
That's
starting
a good
with
term. Maynard Plum, write that down. Lore deaths. Top 10 lore deaths of Ice and that's good. Go ahead, Nettles.
Yeah, like you saying area, like, yeah, it's the horror of it, but we learn new information about dragon riding. Like what happens when you jump on a dragon that's owned by someone else, like things like that. So that story is important for that. But Thistle's death in Varamir, it tells us about abomination, skin changing people. The horrifying element of it is that, like, when you're reading it, and the reason I keep saying Thistle, it's because of like the grape of the mind. It's the most intrusive, disgusting, icky death. And that, okay, all of the ones that we're listing is like physical. It's like, oh, I'm stabbed, I'm beheaded, I die in a split second, I don't feel anything, my head was smashed in. But this is just like, just imagine what it feels like to have someone hit you, or, people who have been raped, like that feeling. But now imagine it like infinity times worse. Like there's someone inside your head, and it's like it's ripping you apart. Now it's ripping your spirit. Your two souls can't inhabit a body. Like, so that's the abomination of it, and that's the terror of it, to bite her tongue out. I mean, go reread that again, and that's why I have it on there.
It's messed up. Yeah, the chat's like, that was hard to read. Yeah.
And reading that gives respect to Bran, because you're seeing what happens when you do that, and then he's doing it all the time to Hodor. So
yes, that's a great point. This is showing us like what Bran is doing to Hodor is in the same class as this. It doesn't play out quite the same, but it is similar, and it just makes you question, how much abomination is this 10-year-old boy being led to do by his magical powers that no one's really explained to him yet, only just now starting to show him the rules and guidelines and stuff. So and then it also tells us a lot about Jon Snow's death and Second Life in general. It gives rise to bolt-on theory, the idea that Roose Bolton is actually skin changing his children, and he's maybe God knows how old, and that he just, every generation he finds a new kid that has the ice eyes, and is going to end up stealing Ramsay Bolton's body and living on, at some point or something. So that's why do you keep changing that, Maynard Plum? I'm pretty sure it's Thistle, like the plant. Oh, is that how it's?
No, it's T instead of a C.
No, I just changed it to T, and he changed it back. So I think that must be how it's spelled.
No, it's not. I know it's not.
Well, okay. I'm confused. Who's right, Maynard or Nettles? I was with you, Nettles. I thought it was It is with a T, Maynard. You're killing me. Yeah. It's not muscle, like with a T. Thistle. Is the plant spelled with a C?
No.
No, it's spelled with a T.
Okay. Well, I don't know why we're fighting about this. All right.
I'm just gonna check the wiki and see how George spells her name.
Yeah, it's with a
T.
T.
Yeah, Thistle.
No, but I will say that it is horrible what Bran is doing to Hodor, but it also might show the skill that Hodor is not going insane. I don't think it's sufficient to just say, "Oh, well, he's simple, so that's why Bran's able to do it." No, no, I think this is to show you like Bran is the chosen one in a certain way, in the way that he is able to do this without splitting a person's mind.
Yes, it does show Bran's power. Well, just the ability to do it. But Hodor's we're sort of given the indication that Hodor's simpleness makes him more susceptible. But it also might be the fact that Hodor's mind is broken in an event where Bran was taking over his mind. So it's like it's
he had
he's
to break
imprinted
him
on
to
Hodor. Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe that's the thing. Yeah, okay.
I mean, they do sort of, there is sort of this hierarchy, right, in skin changing. Like they say, dogs are the easiest. And that makes sense. They're man's best friend. Cats are harder. That makes sense. Cats are fickle. Like certain animals, it gets harder and harder to do. Wolves are a little bit easier because they're around dogs. But like Boromir having like the shadow cat is insanely difficult. So him having that plus a polar plus the bear and all the others, it's like, yeah, you know, you have like levels to this. So that's why like it's murky on what exactly is it, because Hodor just goes and hides within himself that it seems like Bran's easier, or is Hodor just not fighting, because is it just Hodor's not fighting back in the way that Thistle did?
So here's the answer to the mystery, guys. It's a weird font.
That's crazy.
This is a T, but it looks like a damn C. Like you can see here, it's spelled thistle with a T, but look at that. Like that looks like fiscal.
Oh, poor Maynard. I'll say sorry to you. I see why you did that.
So we'll back up the bus. Sorry for throwing you under the bus, Maynard. We'll back it up. Oh, you're still under there. Sorry. Oh, we're making it worse. Oh, look at all that. That's a mess. Okay. No, we appreciate you, Maynard, obviously keeping this thing running behind the scenes. So there it is. It is definitely a weird font.
Yeah. I'll apologize. And I want to say I've never done a sports thing, so like it's my first time doing like a draft thing. This is so much fun, and
It is.
I have two that I'm like shaking.
So this is how it is.
I'm like
it's
waiting
much
for
worse
my turn. I'm like
in fantasy football because you have money riding on it, and you're like, okay, I can pick this player now because this other one, I think everyone else is sleeping on them, and I can leave them hanging and get this other one, and then come back and get this. But then in the meantime, you're just like, oh, I hope nobody picks him, and then somebody always does right before your turn. It's the worst. In any case, I'm glad you are capturing the joy. This is what it's all about. Tim, are you having fun?
Oh yeah, this is plenty of fun.
Okay. All right. So it's basically these are the two sports games we have. Is the bracket, which is good for some, and then this is the draft. We're gonna do another draft with historical characters. So you'd just be the coolest characters from history, non-POV, non-main series characters, just naming them like this. So in any case, it is your turn, Gray Waste Raider General Manager Tim.
Mm-hmm. And you knew an Ironborn was inevitable, and here we is. Victarion Sacrifice, the Women of the Willing Maiden.
Okay.
So this is the chapter of where Victarion chokeslams a guy with his new fire hand. But the big one in this chapter is they capture a cargo ship that was bound for lease with women and boys bound for the brothels. Victarion because Victarion actually draws a line between slavery and thraldom. He thinks he's doing good. He rescues the rowers and then impresses them into the Ironborn because he wants to impress Daenerys, and he thinks that him freeing slaves and making them Ironborn rowers is a thing. Because
it's a slight move up. I mean, as an Ironborn rower, like as he says, you have a chance to eventually work your way up in Ironborn society, and your children can be full Ironborn potentially and stuff. So it is In some cases, it's a technicality. You're still rowing for somebody else, but it is a little bit better, kind of. Go ahead.
Victarion means progress. Victarion builds stadiums. Anyway, Victarion of the women, he says that they are to now be wives of the Ironborn, but that he picks the 7 most beautiful women, in his opinion, for himself. And these are women of all shapes and sizes and all tones, because he picks you got women, pale women, golden women, women with black asquitic, he says, because Victarion is also down with the swirl. And he sacrifices them to 2 gods. This is to honor the drowned god and Makoro, where he puts them on a fishing catch and has it set on fire. Those who burn go to the red god. Those who drown go to the drowned god. But the important thing is that after this sacrifice, these favorable winds pick up and the Ironborn like really start moving. And this led me to
and the wind sounds like screaming women, doesn't it?
It's so what does he say? He kissed them upon the cheeks and told them that the honor that awaited them, with this gift of innocence, we honor both the gods. And on wings of song, I fly to you, Daenerys. Those are his thoughts as he's doing this. And then this great wind picks up. And this is important because this is sort of a what would Euron do moment. We've often heard, like, how does Euron get around so quick? How is he in Karth one day and then back in the Iron Islands? Is he making sacrifices to achieve fast pass, like some kind of storm god? And here, George actually raises it. Victarion makes a sacrifice to these gods, and then favorable winds pick up. So Victarion is becoming a sort of storm god figure all of his own in this moment.
Yeah, I do enjoy it. First of all, essentially what we're saying is that Victarion is a lot like Harriet Tubman or other abolitionist heroes running the Underground Railroad for these poor Myronese slavers. So he really is a hero. Civil rights icon, Victarion Greyjoy. Second thing, I'm sorry, I can't. It's hard to keep a straight face. Is that you should never make fun of people for being bad at symbolism. You know, he didn't understand the whole Dothraki Sea isn't really a sea. You can't row across. Yeah. And the guy shoved that in his face, and he got choke slammed for it. So you never know when someone has a R'hllorist strength-enhanced fire hand that they're going to choke slam you with, because you're making fun of them for being bad at symbolism. Instead, try the softer approach. I don't know how to, but not that. So there you go. And also apologize to the family of Harriet Tubman and other famous abolitionists. Anyway, it is my turn. Who shall I pick? I'm going to go with Krasnizmo Naklaws versus Drogon. This is an... Oh, did I get you again?
That one's on mine, too.
I will cut you. I will cut
That's
you.
Crazy.
Yes, yes. This is, of course, the big moment. One of the most epic moments in the story. Dany using the dragons. She only ever uses her dragons against evildoers, by the way, so far. Except, I mean, there was that one kid that Drogon ate, maybe, but Dany didn't do that. So point is,
there's no proof.
And there's no proof. That's right. Those could just be burnt sheep bones or something. In any case, yes, Drogon burns Krasniz's face off. His eyeballs melt, and he's a hideous, horrible, foul slaver. He's one of the most disgusting characters. He's right up there with Chet. You know, just as loathsome as anyone can possibly be, and Drogon melts his face. So that's pretty cool. Your thoughts, either one of you?
No, I had that moment because I'm a child of immigrants, and like I have so many times had that moment where like people are talking about me in another language, and I'm just like, I know what you're saying, but you don't know that I know what you're saying. So like I love it when I can one up someone and be like, you know, answer them in English or whatever, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. So just the immigration of it all.
I like how Maynard Plum capitalized everyone's name except for Osnak Zopal. He's got the anti-marine bias is showing through there, maybe. No capital for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job spelling Krasniz.
Yeah, and just a shout out to the Undying that Drogon also burns their faces off too. I guess that's a whole different one. Yeah, that somebody could still pick. But we do love it when Drogon melts evildoers' faces off. And that means sheep stealers. It is your pick.
Okay, so I have to do Lysa Arryn, Moondor.
Oh,
Oof.
I didn't even think of that.
I gotta
And
make
you
sure.
performed it on this very channel, of course.
I did.
I still get comments to this day of people who find that stream. They're like, "Oh my God, Girl Nettles is wow!" Like, yeah,
Yay.
she's a real actor.
I am. No, that's just, it's a perfect death. If you're taking the word perfect literally in this sense, perfect death, what I mean by that is like the harmony of it. Like it's what everybody wanted, right, to happen, and it happened. Like we didn't think we deserved it. We didn't think we would get it, and we got it. And it's like perfect harmony as far as like um Lysa's crime spit her death. Like it's not overly gory. It's something that will be over in a second. She's not gonna feel too much pain. Um, it's it's the weapon she was used against her because she's always trying to throw people, commanding people to be thrown out the moon door. And so,
Can I just
and
real quick? One of the
yeah,
horrific things about getting to the Erie and just finding out like how like there's the breast milk reveal and there's all these weird reveals and stuff.
yeah,
But like when the boys are like, "Can we make the bad men fly, mommy?" There's this. You have this moment as a reader. It's like, how many people has this kid sent out of that moon door? Like
exactly.
what's going on here? So, like you said, for that method of execution to be turned against her is very fitting. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I do find it a perfect death. I think it's the most perfect in the entire story. She deserved to die, but not too brutally. And she's always wanted to be like a fair, lovely lady. And you could imagine her like billowing out and like softly landing and everything. Um, or no, she screamed the whole way down. What am I saying? She she did not die a beautiful lady, angelic, fluttering down death. But
She
still,
ended as a red smear on the side of the giant's lance.
yep. And someone needed to put her out of her misery. Sorry, that's how her story
And then there's the
should have
whole way that
ended.
Martin set it up with Alyssa's tears, the waterfall, and crying for her
Yes,
family. And then there's Lysa talking about the tears of Lys and weeping as she's. I mean, it's layered upon layers of death and
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 it's
and
like a
poetic death, basically. Yeah. So that's definitely epic.
yeah.
Osnok is getting his capital O. Look at that
Aw.
upgrade,
But
upgrade.
it's also like it's like that high school like unrequited love, like jock mean to the nerdy girl, because like it's not that she was just pushed like someone being pushed into a pool. No, before she dies, she has to hear that the person she's loved most
Oh,
in the world
that's right.
still wanted
Something
her
to think
sister.
about during the next few seconds as you fall to your death. Yeah.
It's like he could have lied to her. It's like, oh, you know what? I never liked Catelyn. I always loved you, and pushed her. That would have been like a mercy kill. That'd been nice. But
No,
no, it's
Peter's a miserable wretch. He's a horrible person. Gray Waste Raider Tim, that's your pick.
Okay, so my number 7 pick was originally Rhaenyra being eaten by Sunfire, which you snagged. So I'm going to have to call in my first substitute from the bench. I'm going to go with another dragon eating death, and that is the story of Andrew Farman.
okay.
So, Andrew Foreman is the third and final husband of Rhaena Targaryen, but he's more of a front because it seems more likely that Rhaena fancied his sister, Alyssa Foreman, who would eventually go on to steal the dragon eggs and sail across the Sunset Sea. Andrew is this like younger son, the second son. There's nothing special about him. He's not good at arms. He wasn't clever enough to be a maester. He just sort of spends his days at the painted table at Dragonstone pushing wooden figures around. And Rhaena and her friends joke that that he's making his war plans to take over Westeros.
Jeez.
And yeah, it is this is like the most, it's like, wow, you are a pathetic loser, and they really lay it on. And for a moment in Fire and Blood, we go away from world politicking and we focus on Dragonstone. It becomes this murder mystery. It's like a very dark Sherlock Holmes stories where Rhaena's friends just all of a sudden start mysteriously dying, and we find out later it's Andrew was poisoning them. And he says, like, of course, why wouldn't they? I brought them wine and they drank it. They looked at me as a serving man and nothing else. So then Rhaena demands that his manhood that he be gelded, that his penis and testicles be served to him and force fed to him. Andrew decides to not wanting that. He jumps out the window, and then Rhaena commands that his corpse be fed to her dragon.
I forgot that last bit. Yeah, he poisoned like how many people in that castle? Like just a ton of people.
Yeah, so because there was the four, Rhaena and Alyssa and the two other, they were the four-headed beast. So Alyssa gets out, but the other two are poisoned. I think he also poisoned a maester or two and some serving people, like when he was testing how strong the poison was. But yeah, he kills Rhaena's friends, then offs himself, and then she feeds the body to a dragon.
So a couple of really pathetic low life murderers here in Peter Baelish and Andro Farman, like not totally dissimilar in character.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any thoughts on that one, Nettles, before I make my pick?
Just to shoot off a little to Mean Girls, I could see Andrew Farman like in Mean Girls, like that scene, like like grabbing the bird book. I hate Rhaena. She is a ugly. Like
it's a pretty funny little twisted tale that George spun out there for sure. I'm going to go with some chalk here. A couple people in the chat have called for this one, so I forget what your name was, but shout out Renly's death at the hands of the Shadow Baby, along with the couple of Gyard the Green and whoever else Brienne kills on the way out because they got in her way. And what else can you do when someone gets in your way with a sword? You got to chop them down. So, yeah, Renly's death, not only was it accomplished via Shadow Baby sorcery, Stannis saw it in a dream and still replays it in his head. It's the death, it's a sacrifice of Cernunnos or the Green Man. This is near the end of summer, and Renly's got the Knights of Summer, who then go over to Stannis, who's like a deathly version. He's like the dead version of Cernunnos. You know, he's still a stag man, but he's got all this hellish infernal symbolism. There's also the Shadow Sword, perhaps my favorite part of the whole thing, not only because it cuts his gorget like cheesecloth, but because it is like the true nature of Lightbringer. Because Stannis he's role-playing Azor Ahai. He's got the, fake flaming sword. But this Shadow Baby version of him is kind of like the real truth of Lightbringer. It's probably the first black sword. It's made through human sacrifice. It's the prototype for Valyrian steel. It is the opposite of Dawn. Or you could say that Dawn and this black sword are both the yin-yang of Lightbringer, Morning Star, Even Star, something like that. So love that symbolism. Love the 12 braziers with their lights their fires being gusted out by the cold wind. Magical green castle. So it's like original Weirwoods. The 12 last hero companions. Their lives are all snuffed out. Everything becomes cold, even as it's burnt. So just incredible burning the Weirwood net stuff. And that was calling for it was Aesirtris. So you're welcome. And that's, I feel like a solid pick. Yep. Go ahead, Sheep Stealers. Or if either of you want to comment on Renly.
No, you did a great job.
There you go.
Jon Snow.
He was murdered. That's true.
For the watch. It's for that quote that I have to put it because it's like y'all could have just killed him, traitor. But it's not. It's for the watch.
Well, it's one of those things where we're so normalized to the idea that he's going to be resurrected. We saw it on the show. We're sure it's going to happen. But think about when you first were reading A Dance with Dragons and you get to it and then wait, Jon's getting killed now? What's going on here? And how many more Starks?
Being betrayed by the people like you're like, I mean, the thing with Jon is like we're in his POV, so we're seeing him like, give up life with a greed, give up being called Jon Stark and being given Winterfell. He gives up all this stuff to stick to the oath. What is the oath worth? Your oath is tied to these guys. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's Julius Caesar. What do you call it, Tim?
At two, Bowen. Yeah, when when John sees that Bowen Marsh is one of the conspirators, but Bowen has tears in his eyes while he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's several cool things about this death. The fact that Bowen Marsh is the one who gives John his Night's Watch oaths in the Grove of Nine and says, you knelt as green boys, now you're rising as men of the Watch. I think that is coded or based off of an original resurrection ceremony in front of a weirwood, with the first men of the Night's Watch being the resurrected companions of the last hero. So they were green boys, green seer, skin changer people, whether they were hybrids or humans, who knows. But they knelt, they died, and then they rose as men in black, like cold hands, zombie men. So the idea that Bowen Marsh gives John his oath and later kills him, if you sort of cram those scenes together, you have the whole ritual where he's sacrificing John and then saying, rise, as a man of the Night's Watch. And of course that makes sense, because Bowen Marsh is called the old pomegranate, and the pomegranate, Hades and Persephone, it has to do with being trapped in the underworld or being let back. Persephone's there half and half because she ate some of the pomegranate. And then, of course, there's the Obed Marsh layer, Tim.
Yeah.
Isn't there?
Yeah. So there's it's a dual one. There's Enoch Bowen and there's Obed Marsh. These are two different Lovecraft stories. So Obed Marsh is the captain who sold the people of Innsmouth out to the Deep Ones, and that's why we get like these Deep One hybrids. And then Enoch Bowen, he's the man. He was the one who brought the Shining Trapezohedron back from Egypt and set up the American branch of the Church of Starry Wisdom. So Bowen Marsh is a combination of both those character names. And then Bowen Marsh too. It's not. He also is giving John good advice, but the problem is John is ignoring Bowen's advice every step of the way. Then there's Bowen is supposed to be, one of these senior members of the Watch. He's been a steward for years, but then John starts handing out these important roles to free folks, so to wildlings. So Bowen Marsh is insulted by that.
You sound a little bit like a Bowen Marsh apologist, if I may say. Go ahead.
And the last thing that flies under the radar is House Marsh is actually sworn to the Dreadfort. The Boltons are House Marsh, are their liege lords.
Wow, Tim.
So keep in mind, this happens. John's death happens after he receives the pink letter, supposedly from Ramsay.
Extra motivation. That's interesting. That's a deep cut.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. Jon Snow's death, definitely multifaceted. And of course, the coolest thing about his death is that he's going to come back as a super duper ice and fire green seer triple zombie of some kind. And it's going to be Azor High prophecy fulfilled, and maybe the wall will fall down, all kinds of crazy. Maybe the others will steal his body. I honestly have made a lot of Jon Snow resurrection theories. And so good pick. Tim, it is now your pick.
My number 8 pick I called The Reaping of Amory Peak. And once again, Amory Peak is not important. It's the circumstances surrounding it, because he is killed by Sandok the Shadow when Sandok is holding the bridge. And this is another example of the giant man protector to a young boy who will be king. Sandok is the giant man protector to Aegon III. He holds the bridge. Hodor is the giant man protector to Bran, who will be king. He holds the door. Dunk at Summerhall. Maybe my foot will be worth the kingdom. It's all this. And also, it's because I forgot to mention it the last time we streamed together when we were doing the shade trees. Sandok's weapon. It is a curved Valyrian steel sword with a dragon bone hilt and a shield made of nightwood. So he has a Reaper scythe, essentially.
Yeah, it's an incredible weapon, and yeah, I'm going to help you. Amory Peak is cool. I was going to say Maynard Plum. You could put Sandok's victims, because he chops a whole bunch of people to kindling on that bridge. And he's the main person that he kills, but really it's the whole scene of Sandok holding the. Go ahead.
he kills dozens of people by himself. I have the quote, like, Mushroom says, it did not look so much like a sword fight as like a farmer reaping grain. With every stroke, more stalks would topple, but these stalks were living men who screamed and cursed as they fell.
So again, the Grim Reaper, to your point, it's basically an oversized Valerian steel Arak, and he's just scythe swording these people on the bridge, and then they gave up. They never overcame him. They just gave up. So yeah, Sandok's victims.
Yeah, one of them is able to wrench Sandok's sword away, but then he then picks up the battle axe that Aegon of Viserys had placed on the bridge as a marker, like you shall not pass. He picks up that axe and buries it into Amory's head. That's how Amory goes out.
Well, that is certainly a very epic scene. It was one of the standouts from Fire and Blood, and it was also very safe from being picked by either one of us, as are most of your picks. And so I will go with, let's see. I'm going to go with Jaime slaying King Aerys on the Iron Throne. Pretty epic death. Getting murdered by your Kingsguard. As you plot to murder thousands of your own civilians because you're losing the war and you're going to rise as a dragon from the ashes of King's Landing. So that whole scene was obviously super epic in its formulation of the story. Jaime becoming the Kingslayer, this dishonorable nickname for basically doing something, the most honorable thing he ever did. And this is all revealed, again, just as the Brandon and Rickard thing is revealed by Jaime to Catelyn. This was revealed by Jaime to Brienne in the hot bath scene with all the tension and stuff. And like, I mean, it's where Jaime really becomes a different character in the mind of the reader as we reel the story out. It's not like he did it necessarily for noble reasons. It's kind of complex to go into why Jaime did it. But he saved thousands of people, there's no doubt. And he killed the king. You know, there's not too many Kingsguards who have killed the king, and he did that. And in a way, I think that this is part of the role of the Kingsguard. It's the Kingsguard, most people describe it as Gerald Hightower does, which is obey and serve. You can't protect Rhaella from Aerys. You just have to, if he commands you to string up Rickard Stark and kindle the fire and roast him, then you got to do that. You know, the thing about it is that the Kingsguard is the only people with swords allowed near the king. And so in a way, they're the last line of defense. If the king decides he wants to blow up the city and murder thousands of people, the Kingsguard are the only one with a veto power. Now, they may have, the price of using that veto is their honor and potentially their life. But they have that veto power, and Jaime sooner or later decided to leave. He looked at the sword in his hand. He looked at Aerys. He heard Aerys call for the wildfire, and he's like, I'm not going to let that happen. I have a sword. I can stop that. And so it's a very complex moment, very compelling, and so there you go. That's my choice.
I got Maekar killing Baelor.
That one was waiting, sitting there. I saw someone in the chat call for that. Go ahead. Why is that epic death?
Yeah, I mean, we just saw it on TV for the first time, so that's great. But even like in the books, it's just like you're reading up and like just everything that Baelor represents. It's not just like him, this physical person being gone, but it's everything he represents. It's like a whole nother future that we would have had in Westeros. Being snuffed from us. So it's like killing the symbol. But no, obviously beautifully written in the first book. So I got to go with that one. I couldn't leave it. I'm over here shaking because I'm tossing like 4 in my head and I'm just like, but I couldn't let that one go. So yeah.
Whenever we finish, I was thinking we go to 10 and, you know, see where that got us on time and stuff.
Yeah.
But whenever we stop, I'm still going to have like 10 more deaths I'm going to read off to, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, those two. Like there's so many, guys. There's so many.
Yep.
So yeah, obviously super tragic. You know, Baelor is a prime example of the road not taken. Good King Baelor, the king who never was, kind of, you know. So very sad. We're feeling great. You know, like Dunk wins. drags Aryan through the mud and all this stuff, and then gutted.
And we get some gore. We get some gore too.
Yes, it is a little gory.
Yeah, his brain fell out.
Like, how many of you have had the weird little train of thought where you're like, could they have kept the helmet on and just like peeled it off carefully? And like, we've all thought about it, and the answer is no.
Yep.
Like, maybe if we just let the helmet on, he'd just slur his words a little bit.
Just live in the helmet.
We can live with that. Live in the helmet. Be a Krang.
No,
Just get that man an egg. Let him sleep with an egg overnight. He'll be fine.
He was a cracked
Like
egg.
a dragon egg.
Yeah. We'll make him a special pillow.
I just wanted to like bring us all in. Like, everyone has thought about it privately and never talked about it. So now we all are acknowledging that we've all thought about it, and the answer is no. Go ahead, Great Ways Tim.
Right. Where are we? Drogon burns the Undying.
The Undying. Okay, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Again, so talking about George introducing an idea, writ small, but it's going to play out later. This is our preview to Dragons versus White Walkers. Ultimately, I don't think that's what our ending is going to be. We've talked many times about reconciliation being that, but that doesn't mean that, of course, everyone's probably going to think the go-to against the White Walkers at first is going to be to fight them before you dawn on reconciliation. So I do envision a dragon versus White Walker moment happening, and this is our preview of that, which is Dany in the House of the Undying, seeing these inky blue-skinned people, this corrupted blue heart floating above their chipped gray table. So much gray waste imagery in this chapter too. When I was rereading it, I didn't realize. I'm like, oh man, the Undying chapter is actually filled with a lot. But yeah, the burning of the Undying, and then Dany escaping and then being threatened by Pyat Pree on her way out. But it is this idea of you don't really hold up to your name, right? Do you, Undying? Because also the description of their death is that they burnt up like parchment paper. They were so withered. It's like, man, somebody just lit up some dry leaves.
They have not been using their lotion for a long time. There's no hydration going. They don't drink enough water. Kids, drink water or else. So there is. I've made a lot about the symbolism of this scene in the recent Dany Blackwood video, so I won't loop back into that. But yeah, great pick, and great because it does foreshadow quite a lot of things. I'm going to go with epic death. I think it is time for Qyburn Halfhand. Qyburn Halfhand, slain by Jon Snow, seemingly by Qyburn's own design. He essentially was prepping Jon for this, to go over to the wildlings, and he paid for Jon's cover, his deep cover, if you will, with his own life. And he got the very, very shallow cut across the neck, but then we saw the blood start to gush. He got the ruby necklace. It's different than a pearl necklace. It's a ruby necklace, and some symbolism going on there. And then he's burned on the pyre. All of it is a preview for Jon. Jon is cut across the jugular with a very shallow wound where the blood starts gushing and flowing, and that's a jugular hit. And then Jon, of course, probably will be burned on a pyre as well in some capacity. We don't know if this is before his body is stolen from the others or after, or the pyre is the R'hllorist fire filling him, or how it's going to go. But when we dove into the scene of Qyburn's burning, it did seem to be some Jon foreshadowing there. So Qyburn Halfhand, it's really emotional. It's tough. It's tough on Jon too. I think that makes it extra tough because we're watching it through Jon's eyes and feeling, he's becoming a not a kinslayer, but he's slaying his brother in the Watch. So it's kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, you have any thoughts on that one?
No, because my problem, it is sad too that that I get what Qyburn was doing, and it's like, but it relied on your death, and it's like, but there's so many. It's a big gambit, right? it's like, because for all Qyburn knows, the free folk could have just not taken John and anything he said and just killed him right there. And it's like, if you both die, so it's like, it's a huge leap of faith that Qyburn is taking here with this whole setup, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's a risk that he's taking, and I think it's the only one that he sees open to him at that point.
It's like, what if things didn't go your way, man? It's like, my plan was calculated, but I am bad at math. So it just it's one of those things, like, it requires too many pieces to be perfectly in play.
Okay, so for my last one, I'm between Lucerys' death, Lucerys versus little Luke versus Vhagar, or Maegor's trial by 7.
Maegor's death on the throne is epic as well.
I know, but
you can only pick one.
I know. Mm-hmm. So because of that, I'm not going to pick either. I'm going to go with with Aegon's sister being speared over it. No, I'm doing Maegor's trial by 7. I'm doing Maegor's trial by 7.
Lucky 13.
Yeah. I'm going with Maegor's trial by 7 just because, for me, one of the things that I'm ashamed of, like the thing that we have in humanity, is like this stupid idea that if I don't agree with you, I'm just going to beat you. I'm going to kill you. And how, like, you know, so many times in history, Bronn, like, beat Brains. Like, the guy that was able to beat someone into submission is who ended up king. And it's like, that's not what we should have ever been ruled by. It should have always been by who can create something out of nothing. Like, who's the person that can create alliances and figure out a way to make things work. And it's fantasy, right? Because that's all we know is, like, killing. And like Maegor is like the embodiment of that. The fact that he's the last one standing after this bloody battle for what he pretty much dies from it. Like someone said he died and his mom brought him back to life. Another Robert Strong, if you will.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's extra cool because Maegor may have died or almost died, you know, would have been dead if not for sorcery, let's say. So yeah. That's good. The chat likes your Lucerys pick quite a bit. There's a lot of voice for that, yeah.
I know. But I was just like, well, I have the God's Eye. Listen, y'all don't know how hard this is. But I think that the trial by 7 embodies everything that Maegor did, because you could go through each of his crimes, but if you just pick that moment, it shows kind of like what he did to women, what he did to a horse, like what he did to, you know, just all in one. So I'll pick that one.
Grey Waste Raider Tim, last pick. Unless we decide to go further, go ahead. What do you got?
My 10th and final pick is Frey Pies.
Oh.
Okay. Yep. So this is Rhaegar, Frey, and who are the other two?
Rhaegar, Simon, and Jared.
So Rhaegar's on the list twice. That's cool. And of course, they were baked into pies and served to all the guests at Winterfell by Wyman Manderly, who had 2 portions of each one, and make sure to get lots of crumbs and stuff on his.
Yeah. He gets Rhaegar, Simon, and Jared are gifted 3 palfreys before disappearing on their way from White Harbor to Barrowton. Later, Wyman Manderly shows up with 3 great wedding pies as wide across as wagon wheels, their flaky crust stuffed to bursting with carrots, onions, turnips, parsnips, mushrooms, and chunks of seasoned pork swimming in a savory brown gravy. But we all know it's long pig, and then to really lay it on thick. Not only does Wyman shows up with these, he serves the pies himself. He has 6 servings, 2 slices from each pie, and while he's doing it, he requests that Abel the bard, Mance in disguise, play a song about the rat cook, which is a song about cannibalism.
Yes, that is sort of the cherry on top there, having the bard give us the rat cook. I feel like hearing it. Yeah.
He he ate it. He ate 6 slices. So it's also really laying into the Wyman Manderley as a secret squisher idea, because he knows full well he's consuming human meat. It also means to me, with how taboo of a cannibalism is, it makes me wonder if Wyman thinks like maybe he knows he's not going to make it out of this one alive. Like, well, if I'm going down, I'm taking you all down with me type deal, or like got to make a real show of it.
All right. Well, we're only 90 minutes into the stream here, and I have a lot of epic deaths still on my list. So what say y'all we go to 13 instead of 10? So we each pick 3 more. You think you can think of 3 more, Tim?
Yeah, I can think of 3 more.
I could definitely think of 3 more. And I also had an idea, and you could definitely say no, because I just thought of this, is that at the end, we could each steal 1 from everyone's list.
That might be
to
fun.
Create your super list. Like, and yeah, you like.
You're trying to start a fight up in this.
I'm a sore loser. I'm looking at my list. I'm looking at y'all's. I'm like, listen, we gotta.
No, you've got. Look, there are still some crazy epic deaths that are on the board that have not been picked that you can use to rescue this. You can still pull this out, Nettles.
I know. I do have some really great
on
ones.
there. You know, it's pretty impressive.
I
So I'm going to go ahead. Miri Mazdor, who dies to birth Daenerys' dragons. That's a bit of an epic scene. Maybe the most epic scene that George has ever written, and it's on my list. So I don't know how much we really need to say about it. There is an anguished Keening. She does the Nissa agony and ecstasy. She's ululating. And I was thinking about this, the whole ululating thing. She sings her spellcraft, so she is probably uttering a spell right there. Do you think she's maybe trying to neutralize the pain with a spell? That's what I'd be trying to do if I was about to be burned alive. But
I hate her. I don't care. I hope she felt as much pain as possible.
Well,
I hope not. I just hope. I hope she felt no reprieve.
Her song did turn into a scream, so it seemed that she was feeling pain, and so that's what I call an epic scene. Help pay for the life of the dragon hatching, and so there you go. Sheep Stealers. It is now there are some juicy ones. Go ahead,
Luke.
Okay, she's going back for Lucerys, who was chomped by Nana.
I didn't forget you, my boy. No, yeah, it's arguably the start of the dance. So it's the start of the dying of the dragons. No, just beautifully written, horror, terror. But it's David versus Goliath. But if David would have lost,
yeah, there's no upset brewing there. So yep, and well done on the show. They had fun with that on the show. Obviously, that was great. Lucerys, and then there's all the taunting beforehand between them, and the daughter of the Baratheon daughter taunting Aemond and goading him, and
in the show we learn new lore by this death which is just like, oh, the dragons will not listen to your command.
Yeah, you don't have enough badges to train me.
Yeah, not badges.
There are so many good ones left. This is ridiculous. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, and the lead up to the chewy chomp. So I guess for my next one, I'm gonna go with Arryn Brightflame drinking wildfire, thinking it'll turn him into a dragon.
Yeah, that was sitting right here for sure.
Very cute.
He drank wildfire. It's one of the craziest things anyone's ever done. And the interesting thing, Tim, is like how Egg is trying to use wildfire to hatch dragons. Aerion is using it to try to turn himself into a dragon. Perhaps King Aerys was doing that too.
My question now to that is how? Do you think he drank the whole cup? I think of just like remember when Victarion is offered Shade of the Evening by Euron? He immediately spits it out on the first sip, and I'm like, this is wildfire. Like, how do you even physically get a gulp down?
Well, it's going to be similar to like naphtha or something, right? So would it just like melt his esophagus, or
I don't know. It's like, does it take a second? you would think like he would. at the first sip, he'd realize this is a very, very bad idea.
When he has no lips, yeah. Just getting close to it.
We need a real science explained on the
We
physics of
do.
this, but certainly an epic death. Just to clean it up so that it doesn't get not picked. I don't know if we were all ignoring this because we talked about it already, but Ned's death at the end of a Game of Thrones is potentially the most epic death in the history of fantasy. Like, if you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I saw the chat going up for that one.
Yeah, it's just incredible. The emotional impact of it. It's the ultimate road not taken. And, it's bad when Varys is like, no. Like, Varys usually has everything locked up, but that moment on stage, it's like, here's what happened. What happened is that Littlefinger got to Joffrey. Okay, this is how this went down. Littlefinger got to Joffrey and convinced him that he should do this and that his mother can't stop him and this and that. And so Joffrey has this in his pocket. He knows what he's going to do on stage. And the stuff that Joffrey is saying about, these are the words of weak women and treason will always never go unpunished in my realm. Like, those are Littlefinger's words, I think, that Joffrey is speaking there. So yeah, this is not only a brutal death, it's a political misstep for Team Lannister. And it is basically a case of Littlefinger taking out his revenge on the Starks through manipulating Joffrey. So much like another world leader whose name I will not mention, it's sometimes said like the last person he talks to influences him, kind of. And so that seems to be what Joffrey is happening here. So Ned's death. Nettles, your turn.
I got Rhaenys' death. Rhaenys being Aegon the Conqueror's sister. So her death is like an off-screen death, of course. But because it's off-screen, there's been just so many theories made about it. So it's epic enough where people are like, she's still alive, guys, and blah, blah, blah. So it's epic in that nature. And then, of course, one of the mysteries in the fandom we have is what is written in that letter.
Yep.
We need to know the contents of the letter, and that wouldn't happen without Rhaenys' death. And then the other thing is just what we've mentioned before. It's like her death symbolizes like a trail not taken. Like, had she lived through all of this, Aenys might have had like a little brother, which would have kicked Maegor off the line, and he would have never become king. Or like Rhaenys being alive, like it would have changed so many things between the dynamic of Maegor and Visenya. It wouldn't just be them two. We'd have Rhaenys bouncing off, like ruling when there was that void after Aegon died. So I think it's epic, and it shows that once again a dragon can die. A dragon could be killed by mere mortals, even in this legendary time that we call the Conquest.
Yep, and this is really Rhaenys and Meraxes, the death of both of them really together. Yeah. So yeah, the shooting a dragon down with a scorpion bolt is epic, just all in itself. And there's also the symbolism of the Hellholt and all that stuff. So that's a good one. And that makes it your turn, Grey Waste Raider Tim.
Mm-hmm. My next one, I'm going to go with the Tywin Lannister dying on the porcelain throne.
Wow.
Tywin Lannister did not shit gold. Of course, like it is the last moments between Tywin and Tyrion are such a gut wrencher. All of the wherever whores go, coming right after him strangling Shay, like with the hands of gold are always cold, or whatever the rhyme was. But yeah, just like the final insult, it's like, you are no son of mine.
Well, I was very happy in my Tyrion Targaryen research when I realized, okay, so Jaime and Aerys, if Tywin is the son of Aerys and Joanna, then Aerys killed Jaime's father and Jaime killed Tyrion's father. And they both died on the throne because Aerys died on the Iron Throne or right next to it, and Tywin dies on the porcelain throne. So it's a very nice symbolism there. Enjoyed that. So I'm going to go with... Oh, there's still some good ones here. Ed, fetch me a block. Because it's time to cut Janos' his head off. Not only is it cool, emotionally great, some of you may not know this. Originally, George was going to have John hang Janos Slint, and that's what John was going to do in the scene. But one of his beta readers or one of his friends that read an early draft said, really ought to cut his head off like the Starks do. And so George wrote it in the scene as John changing his mind. And so that's why he's like, you know what, Ed, go ahead and fetch me a block, in fact. And it's this moment when Janos thinks that he has won the argument and that John's, crumbling and he's going to relent and he can't really execute him. And he's like, Ed, fetch me a block. And then he chops his head off. Also, the sword runs with morning light twice in that chapter, which is a big clue about the Starks and potentially wielding the sword of the morning or something like that. I've got videos about that. So I'll go with Janos Slint. John executing traitors like his dad would. And that brings it back to you, Sheep Stealers.
Euron's pregnant thrall on the bow of a ship.
She has not technically died yet.
I know. That's why I'm like, well, but it's inevitable.
Gotta be. It's not a death scene yet.
Okay, I know.
There's some pretty big stuff here on the board.
I know. I was like, sample chapters. It's kind of. I'm like, this.
No, there's major central book events still on the board here.
I know. So I'm gonna go with Joffrey.
Such as the Purple Wedding.
Let's go with Joffrey. It's because of the mystery of it was. I call it a whodunit. This is get your 1950s detective jacket on, black and white filter, so you could solve this whodunit at first. Because now it's so obvious to us. But the first time you read it, did you know who like it? It's something that you really have to read into, and it really showed us like what this book series is about. Yes, we got shocked with the Red Wedding, but this is like, you guys thought you were in for this little story, but this is not what you thought it was. So it was the first kind of like wake up zinger for me. And it's last on my list just because I wanted Joffrey to suffer for weeks. Okay. I mean, that's what's bad about it. Like, let me roast my own pick here first of all, but like, that's why it's last, because went out too fast, too easy. But a death is a death, and he needed to be gone.
Murdering the king at a public event like that is peak, like, plot, conspiracy, Game of Thrones intrigue. So yeah, definitely epic. Did Oberyn poison Tywin? Did Oberyn have a hand in this? Probably not. Yeah. But it definitely does seem to be Olenna Tyrell and Littlefinger making a deal that implicates Sansa, which it, sort of binds Sansa to Littlefinger. So yeah, it's pretty.
And it embarrasses Tywin, and we know that Tywin hates to be embarrassed. So that's why it had to be a public event. This couldn't have been done in the dark. I love that about it.
Your pick, Greyways Tim?
I'm going to go with a lore one because I haven't done one of those yet. Garen's Curse. So this is the Prince Garen the Great of the Rhoynar. So first, he's the one who showed, like, as Nettles had shown before, when men can kill dragons, and they kill 3 dragons, but then the Valyrian Dragon Lords come back with 300. We get this fight where they basically bring the entire Rhoyne to a boil. So the Rhoynar are there, and they're like turtle and fish armor. I'm a fan of Cajun food, so this is like a big seafood. This is a big seafood boil. But then what happens after is with Garen is in his golden cage, and he beseeches Mother Rhoyne to destroy the Valyrians. They make fun of him, but that very night the waters rise and drown the invaders, and this becomes the origins of Grayscale. It's also a gigantic reference to the doom that came to Sarnath, because that's how Sarnath ends when they're celebrating the conquering of Ib, and then that's when the fogs rise and the spirits of the little frogmen that they slaughtered come back and to take their vengeance.
Well, looks like it's time to make my last pick, so I'm gonna have to pick myself
Old Nimble Dick Crab had my knee blown out by Shagwell the Fool's damn Morning Star. That hurt quite a bit. And then I believe my head was exploded. And so I was buried beneath a weirwood tree on the end of Whispers Peninsula. And this is not my actual pick. That was just a bit. My actual pick is going to be Merritt Frey, hung by Lady Stoneheart and the Brotherhood at the climax of A Storm of Swords. It's our introduction to Lady Stoneheart. The whole chapter is delightful. Merritt circling the hill, walking into something he pretty much knows is a trap, but he's trying to talk himself into it. And it is a trap, and he's hung, like a lot of other people, and like many Freys will be. And so, yeah, Merritt Frey at the hands of Lady Stoneheart. That will be my last pick. But shout out to Nimble Dick Crab. And, of course, Brienne also did kill Shagwell the Fool shortly after, which was cool.
All right, so are we allowing the steals?
I'm not letting you. Sure. What? Sure.
Let's do steals.
Go ahead, Sheep Stealers.
Do the honorable. And then you can do the honorable.
Well, but if you steal, then you have to. What are you giving back? You know what I mean? Like, how does that work?
No, it's like I steal one from you, Tim steal one from you, and then you steal one from me, and you can steal one from Tim. Like we steal one from each opponent.
Okay.
I think that defeats the premise of the exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you are the sheep stealers, so I can't blame you for trying to steal stuff. But no, I think we should just let the chat vote on what we picked.
All right.
But before we do that, I want to just read out some of the ones we didn't name because there are so many. Rhaenys, the Queen Who Never Was. Dying at Rook's Rest. Quentin Martell trying to ride a dragon. Didn't go so well. Ares Hokart. Arm chopped off, head chopped off by Ario Hota. Mormont's Mutiny at Craster's.
Yeah.
Ygritte's death at Castle Black with a very touching moment when Jon finds her in the snow with the arrow in her chest. Maegor on the Iron Throne. Robert versus the Boar. Kind of a pathetic death, honestly, but
still epic.
Yeah, it's kind of. Night's Watch, many Night's Watchmen, about 200 of them at the Fist of the First Men. Lucas Longinch versus Dunk in the Stream. Alan Cockshaw, fed a stone, thrown down the well by Dunk. So these are just a few of the ones that we didn't mention. Cal Daco. Yeah, there's that one. Maelor Targaryen on the bridge at Bitterbridge. George would be mad we didn't pick that one. Lady Hornwood.
I had Hornwood as my honorable mention, but I just read on the chat here, Donald Noy.
Yeah, Donald Noy, yes, thank you. I've seen that floating around for a few minutes now. Versus Mag the Mighty, the giant beneath the wall. That is certainly an epic death.
Beric Dondarrion. Sorry.
Nettles sent him.
I was just saying Donald Noy, spine crushed while stabbing a giant in the throat. That's what a way to go out.
Yeah, I had that, but Beric Dondarrion, lore. It's a lore death. We learned what a kiss of
which one?
Which died like 7 times. You get 7 for 7 the price of 1.
Final death. Yeah. It gave us lore. Kiss of life. Lady Stoneheart.
Aemon Targaryen on the boat. A certain kind of epic death for sure. Old age. Over 100 years old. Muttering ravings about the prince that was promised and stuff. Lady the Direwolf.
Vargo Hope being forced at his own limbs.
The Cargill twins. Vargo Hope chopped into bits by the mountain. The Cargill twins. Lyanna Stark at the Tower of Joy.
Yeah. I had Shay.
Shay.
Yeah, I did mention her in Tywin's, but her death itself.
Yeah, it's kind of sort of part of the Tywin scene. It's like a 1-2. It's debatable, but yeah. So yes, you have to vote who has the best overall team. The chat is live. Don't vote for Sheep Stealers. Vote for me. It's my channel. Come on. No, I'm kidding. Vote for whoever you think has the best team. And you can vote for any of us. Oh, great. I'm in last place. I see how it is.
Blood and cheese.
We didn't mention blood and cheese. Yes, this is what I'm saying. There are so many. This is all George really does. Ice and Fire is just a series of very unfortunate events.
Yeah. Well, Blood and Cheese, it depends on, do you go with the book version where we never exactly find out what happened to Cheese, or do you go with the show version where Cheese did get caught up with all the other rat catchers?
I mean, take your pick. It's pretty horrific either way. Also, I would like to shout out Ormond Hightower drinking the poisoned wine with Ulf the Sot. If they do anything like that, I think they will do that with Otto this season. So hopefully, it would be season 4 actually. I hope we see that.
Everyone's
Princess
got like
Bride,
a third of
yes.
the audience on their side.
Ever since you said that, Dave, about the Princess Bride, that's what I'm like. That's what I'm waiting for. Like the switcheroo.
The poll is very close, guys. So if you are listening, there are how many people watching? 359 people, and only 70 people have voted. So if you are listening and you are not participating in the chat, go ahead and put your dish towel down, dry your hands off for a second, pick up your phone or computer, and give a little vote. Take a look at the rosters here. I'll just read them off. My team, and I'll let everyone read their team. My team is Brandon and Rickard, Rhaenyra eaten by Sunfire, The Red Wedding, Drogo crowns Viserys, Egg at Summerhall, Drogo versus Krasniz, Renly Shadow Baby murder, Aerys slain by Jaime, Qyburn Halfhand, Miriam Azdur and Dany's Pyre, Ned's beheading, Janos Slint, and Merritt Frey by Lady Stoneheart. Sheep Stealers.
Come on, guys. Vote for me. I've got Rhaegar at the Trident. Going once, going twice. Qyburn's female victims. Nissa. Oberyn Martell, head smashing. God's Eye. Come on, we've got the most epic death in Dance of the Dragons. Thistle and Varamir. Lore.
Hey, just read them. You don't got to argue them again. Just read them. We got to read Tim's names. Come on.
Lysa Arryn Moondor, Jon Snow's death, Maekar killing Baelor, Maegor's trial by 7, Prince Lucerys' death, Rhaenys and Meraxes going down, and finally the Purple Wedding, Joffrey's death.
And finally me, Araya Targaryen, Worms with Faces. Regis Groves and his magical exploding head by witchcraft. Waymar Royce, our first death by others. Daemon Blackfire and a hail of weirwood arrows. Osnak Zopal, beheaded and pooped on, the sheer audacity. Victorian, I have 2 gods on my side. I'm going to sacrifice to both of them, Drown God and Lord of Light. Andrew Foreman, well, I'm going to go out on my own terms. I'm jumping out this window and we'll just feed you to a dragon later. Sandok the Shadow, the harvester of sorrow, reaping men like wheat with his giant reaper blade. hey, George loves his use of music. If you take the post dance chapters,
Tim's attempt to read through is just completely breaking down here.
They line up. They line up thematically with And Justice for All, the same way that Wizard of Oz syncs up with Dark Side of the Moon. But Drogon burns the Undying. The Frey Pies, Wyman manually baking some bridge trolls into a pie. Aryan Bright Flame drinking wildfire. Tywin Lannister. I took both the poop ones, apparently. Tywin Lannister dying on the toilet. And Garen the Great, the origins of Grayscale.
Speaking of Garen the Great hung in the cage, we've also got Mance Rayder, really the Lord of Bones, burned in a weirwood cage at the wall. That's pretty epic as they burned the Horn of Jormungand and stuff.
Downtown Clowny Brown said mountain killing Aegon and Elia. Oof.
I didn't even want to bring that up as epic because it's just horrible. Sam killing the other. Oh, the other died. That's true. I thought about that scene, but I was like, yeah, no, you're right.
That was very, very good. Good lore.
I was going to mention also Gregor. He was first poisoned by Oberyn, and then he was tortured for like a month before Qyburn did whatever he did to turn him into Ungregor. So that's pretty horrible.
We'll lump that in with mine, Oberyn Martell. Yeah. It's the same.
No, you didn't say that. You didn't say Gregor. You talked about Qyburn's victims for 5 minutes and never said the word Gregor.
No, I mean Oberyn. The trial. Tyrion's trial.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Not the same scene. Cleos Frey, yep, dragged along by a horse, got his head smashed on a rock. Sam killing the other was the biggest miss of the draft. What is our biggest miss? You tell us. Ashara Dane, I had her on the list too. Yep. She may not be dead, but assuming she is. She jumped out of a tower at Starfall after miscarrying a baby and learning that her brother was killed by the man she loved. So that sucks. Oh, the stable boy that Mountain took out during the fight. Yeah. Well, you know, the guy that was killed in Davos's place and had his hands and head on displayed on the walls of White Harbor. Oh, Balin Greyjoy. Yes, the Faceless Man killing Balin Greyjoy on the rope bridge. See, there's like 20 more that we didn't even name. There's just so many.
That one was a good one.
I feel like Donald Noy might have been the biggest miss. That's what's more epic than you and the giant kill each other through the gate. Like, that's crazy. Arya killing the stable boy was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody mentioned Lady earlier.
Yeah, we would say Lady.
Jarl falling off the wall, sure. Polliver, yep. Arya killing Polliver. Mance Rayder's not dead. Lord of Sunglass was burned.
Yeah,
it was Rattle Shirt died in the cage.
Arya's sample chapter too. Yeah, that's good.
Oh yeah, who did she kill?
Ralph the Sweetling.
That's someone who needed to die. Micah the Butcher's Boy. No, we have not mentioned Micah. Balin fell. The Faceless Man only tried to catch him. That's true. That's likely to be what happened. Sorry, Tara. Yeah, no, I saw you. That we all had ones that we wanted to get to.
I was yelling about Donald all stream. I know.
Sheep Stealers is winning this poll, guys. 40. I've got 34. Grey Waste Tim 26. Sheep Stealers is pulling ahead.
Thank you, guys. I'm so surprised. Honestly, like I'm looking at David's. I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, if I couldn't vote for mine.
Somebody's saying Kevin Lannister. Yep. Jojen. We didn't see his death, and it's only theoretical, so that doesn't count.
Yeah. No Jojen.
Lord Beesbury, killed by Kristen Cole. The Miller's boys that Theon killed.
These are just sad. Like, which one's the saddest? Like,
Maester Lewin's death scene is kind of epic. Yep. He asked for mercy from Osha the Wildling.
The best Maester death in the series is Crescent.
Yes. Crescent. That's an epic death. Jesus. We forgot about that one.
To take out that horrible, horrible red lady. I hate her too.
Yeah. He tries to do the Otto Hightower thing, drinking the poison wine to kill somebody. And unfortunately, she was a witch. Hair in the Black.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. That's what I was like. I was going to put that as 10 and then. Yeah.
Beesbury, which one? The one that died fighting for Dunk or the one that died on the small council trying to hold up Rhaenyra?
Probably small council. That was
the way they went when his head got smashed into his little marble, whatever that ball that they all have is.
Yeah. I had Lady Hornwood as honorable mention because I was thinking about like Ramsay. It's funny, like I thought about like the villains and who they've killed, but that didn't make my list as much as like the symbolic ones, because every time I thought of like Lady Hornwood, I'm like, no, that's it's horrible. It's starvation is the worst, one of the worst deaths. But
yeah, Simon Silvertongue was put in the bowl of brown. We mentioned Eric and Arik. Lord Botley drowned in a cask. Yeah, Drogo technically was killed by Dany with the pillow. As far as his actual death.
Yeah.
Aemond and Daemon is God's Eye, and that is on Sheep Stealers' team. Orell's Eagle. Yeah, I don't know if that qualifies.
That eagle got bodies. That eagle has taken a lot of people down.
It did.
Yeah, we didn't include any animal deaths on any of our lists. Like nobody mentioned any of the dire wolves dying.
I think that's for the better.
Not on the list, but we did mention Lady. We mentioned Ygritte. Yeah, Garrett. It's Will. Yeah, Will it's Garrett who's beheaded by Ned. Yeah, Garrett, the Night's Watchman. Yeah. He's beheaded by Ned. Emery Lorch got eaten by that bear. True. The pregnant Mama Direwolf went out locked in mortal combat with the stag. Robert Baratheon's boar served for dinner. Okay. I was also going to mention Biter, who is killed by Gendry after eating part of Brienne's face. I don't know if I'd call that scene epic, if that's not the first word I'd use, but it's something.
We were happy. We cheered when he died. We liked it.
That scene is rough. Let's see here. Joffrey Velaryon, Rhaenyra's son, thrown from Dragonback. That's pretty... And maybe he got a concussion and forgot who he was, and some common girl took care of him, and he lived his life as a peasant or something. Now he's dead.
Every single story ends like that.
Pyatt Bree had his arms and legs chopped off, eventually died in Euron's hold.
Yeah, polls closed. I lost.
Dang.
Yeah. That is a sheep stealer's victory.
This is guys, why democracy doesn't work.
Oh, it's still a good showing for me and you, Tim. We got that's respectable.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Chad. This was so hard. All the sweat, all the tears.
You gotta wave your terrible towel, sheep stealers.
No, Tim, I needed to steal Arya Targaryen from you and Frey Pies. And Dave, I wanted so bad to steal Egg at Summer Hall and Rhaenyra eaten by Sunfire. Like, oh.
Yeah, you were going to cannibalize my list.
Tim,
I came in here knowing that I was coming in with a bunch of B-side tracks and deep cuts. Didn't play too many of the singles at my concert, I guess we could say.
It was over when I named your team the Raiders and you acquiesced to it. Just like the Raiders in the NFL draft, you drafted people way ahead of where they were going to go. And you reached for people with flashy stats, so this is all about a third of the audience will get my Raiders joke. But in any case, you did great, Tim. In all seriousness, you brought some really fun stuff and you had the quotes ready. So appreciate you.
Yeah.
And Nettles, thanks. I'm again, sorry I invited you, beat our pants off. And
I do what I can for the people. I do what I can.
Keeping us in our place. No, it's good.
No, this was fun. No, I like losing, or I like. No, yeah, you guys.
This was a fun exercise, and we'll do other drafts with some different, format, different topics. But yeah, good stuff. So thanks you guys for tuning in and for voting in the poll there, for recommending stuff and sending some super chats. So y'all are great. And Septon Barth, watch out for it. Heresies of Septon Barth. It'll be dropping on Tuesday this week. I'm a little ahead of schedule, so look for that. And then next Sunday, we'll be doing The Life and Times, because that's fun.
And I look forward to, even after the stream is over, just reading what people write their tops are in the comments, because I love kind of just reading through them, commenting on them, and maybe make another list there. I'd love to see what you guys have to say, because we're forgetting so many still, even after a 2-hour stream.
Yeah, I mean it's again, we could have kept going. There are so many. It just really makes you appreciate again how George is. He moonlights as a horror tragedy, writer. He's influenced by Shakespeare. Shakespeare known for its epic deaths, layered importance. Like we talked about with many of these, there's so many different aspects to some of these scenes. So hopefully this will help you if you're a writer or just somebody who likes understanding stories, help you think a little more deeply about the anatomy of a good death scene and what goes into it and stuff like that. So definitely a lot of fun. Thank you guys for joining me.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking a screenshot of this.
Yeah, feel free. And definitely we'll have you back on soon, Nettles. We won't let it go this long. But of course, in case you haven't heard, Nettles you've got a kid now and stuff.
I have a baby. Yeah, I'm a mom, so I am like more busy than I've ever thought I would ever be. So, but I always have time for A Song of Ice and Fire.
And Tim, stalwart as ever. Appreciate you and your recalcitrant Tim ways.
Recalcitrant.
Recalcitrant.
That's a $20 word.
Well, it's behind the scenes. I this morning made this list. I went like 37 deep, and I was like, man, I'm prepared. I'm doing this like it's a real fantasy draft. I was like, I wonder if these other two, if I was clear enough to them that the best way to do this is to make a big list ahead of time. And so I called Tim, and I was like, yeah, Tim, you're making a list, right? He's like, yeah, I've got 10 names. And I was like, well, but other people are, everyone's going to have the similar ones at the top, Tim. Like, you're not going to get your top 10. He's like, oh, no. I picked a bunch of ones that no one else is going to pick. I picked a bunch of obscure ones.
Yeah. And then I also said, and you told me that you thought that we weren't going to go past 8. So I actually thought I had extra by picking 10. So you lied to me. You lied.
I changed the game, and then we expanded it again. Pray that I do not alter the agreement further, Tim.
You lie. Now you have to lie to cover your lies. When do the lies end?
Well, like I said, thanks for being a good sport. You brought a bunch of cool ones here that would not have been mentioned. I was thinking about Andrew Farman in the back of my head, but I didn't put him on the list. So appreciate you. And good to get y'all together on the same stream. And like I said, Nettles will get you back soon.
Yep.
And we'll do more
House
games.
of the Dragon's coming back.
It's going to be a great season. Whatever they did in season 2 that didn't work out quite right, I think this season is going to be pretty freaking amazing. So I'm pumped for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't want it to turn into a hate watch. So, but
we'll still have fun, even if that somehow happens. We'll have fun, Tim.
Well, think about it this way: Rook's Rest was one of the best things that any Game of Thrones show has done, and we're going to get a lot more of that. A lot more of battles with dragons and armies interacting in interesting ways. So they've already showed they can do that much. So yeah. Thank y'all. See you soon. Cheers. Have a happy Sunday.